try to drag Iran into a fight, the Afghanis that came from there, you go fight them. We're going to train you right, you're going to go fight them. And then that's 30% of the people, man. The Shias. Okay, so what does that mean? The educated class, the this, the that, and the other, the organized class, the thinking class, right? Would go back and do their part to rebuild their country. Who's gonna love them? Everybody. Because they're bringing knowledge, understanding, and stability. And they're not bringing a Western approach. They're bringing the neighbor's approach. It's like if they was born in Mississippi and they bringing back an Illinois approach. We all understand that because we just spread it over there, right? The people come back from here, they bring back a whole different, right? It don't respond to nothing. It just don't fit. That's right. Right? That's right. See, Allah's in charge of all of this stuff. And that's the position Iran is in because it's earned it. And most of the stuff we're saying, Iran don't even know that they got all of that. You know what I mean? That's okay. Past president, ready to educate, rebuild infrastructure, right, everything. 4 years residence, we talked about that, 3 generations, new refugees, border camp, reservoir of security, personnel trained after, okay, sharing, stabilizers, they're stabilizers. And then they come with an idea of more. If it's an Imam Hussein idea, when it comes from Iran, it's not exclusive. You know, what I mean is, yeah, this is what we are, but we're not away from everybody else, right? So I want you to imagine the numbers coming back into Afghanistan or being associated with it, right? Or the picture that they get of a successful society, all of that is right there and it's next door. And I don't believe that they have the Taliban, they're not going to be able to do anything with that. Because number one, boss man ain't going to give them the help they need. They're already freezing their account. They doing everything boss man told them, but they freezing their accounts. They ain't got no money, right? And so they're gonna need people who've come from a regularized, organized, not every 5 feet is a different tribe. That's not that bad, but I mean, but if you're Afghanis and you've been in Iran, you have a Afghani, Iranian, Shia approach, right? And that approach is not exclusionary. It don't exclude everybody else. We got the best, but we love Sunnis too. Hey, Allah's in charge of all of this. It's just Allah's in charge. I'm gonna speed up. So there's a mission, the vision has a purpose. Iranian Afghanis, all them Afghanis is running off trying to get over here. You got a group that they can replace them with. They have the same language, same script and everything. They're already there. Yeah. So they ready to replace American stooges. Yeah. So all these these stooges, go on over to America. But as you go, take your bitterness and hatred for people that left you hanging and you treated you like nothing. And now you're going to come over here. Yeah, okay. I'm glad I'm here, but hey, man. So what line are you going to take now? And then you're going to meet some Iraqis at the Masjid. They did the same thing too. These dummies are bringing in, from the way they treat them. We gotta hang off the plane, boss man. We go, God, oh man, why don't you just make it easy? You don't have paper number 62, Without that, we can't help you. Oh, boss man, that's cold. You didn't say that. All of them that are coming. Look what they did. They sent some women without their children, some children walking around. The lady had to get on the plane. And they got orphans. They got to ship a whole load of orphans by plane somewhere, wherever they sent. What I'm saying is, when the decline happens, it just happens where you can't do nothing. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. You can't put, you know what I mean? You can't put it back together. You cannot put America back together. It ain't gonna work. It broke him up with everybody. Look what he did to the Europeans. Look what boss man done wiped out his slate. He can't, this guy is in bad shape, right? I don't even know how he holds his head up. He in bad shape. I'm gonna try to speed up. I know I won't be able to finish. Self-engineered decline. We want to talk about Vietnam, Gulf War syndrome, rise up in 91, 2003, Rumsfeld, known, unknowns, unknown, knowns. Remember that band? See, when he said it sounds deep, but when you play it, you say, what in the hell is he talking about? Why, them people, look at them dumb reporters. You're a fool. You're sitting there listening to that. Well, that's a known. Well, what about this? That's a known unknown. We know about that, but the solution is unknown. Well, what about such and such? That's an unknown known.
Right.
It's somebody knows something, but we don't know it because there's a solution to that, but it's unknown to us, and the whole process is unknown.
Right.
It's a big question that you got. We know that question, we know that problem, but the solution is unknown because we don't know nothing about it. Well, what about some?
Right.
And them people, it's like eeny, meeny, miny, moe. They're sitting there and they're really digesting that. Can you imagine how stupid the people feel now? Those reporters, man, we will sit there and listen to that gobbledygook and we look like a bunch of damn fools. Right, and the guy just running it. Anyway, we'll speed up. It's unbelievable. Syria, Afghanistan invasion, regional relief, land, air, sea. So we got the Gulf, we got Oman, we got Syria and Lebanon. The relief is very simple. You remember reading in history about the Berlin airlift? 1949, when the Soviets closed down, remember they had the French section, the English section, the American section,
Okay.
and the Russian section.
Okay.
And the Russians, of course, had the biggest. They closed it down. Then they had the Berlin airlift. That means they flew C-47s over there. They dropped candy bars. They did everything, and they were so effective that the Russians finally lifted the thing. because that now the sanctions to everything. Okay, we're not going to put up with that anymore. That's why by land, sea, and air. We got Yemen there, we got flotillas that's packed with everything, right? And either the boats, the speed boats from Yemen can come and load up. You know, imagine these big barges. And they got combinations. You know, Iran got tons of speedboats. They call it swarming what they do. Mm-hmm. They can work with them. They can run blockade running. It ain't nothing, right? Just swarm they behind. That's all they got to do. Each boat is filled up with all kind of supplies. They got people waiting on the beach or waiting on the little docks, and they do it all day long. So and everybody do it. What we're calling for is, I don't care whether it's ships from Indonesia to do their Sadaka, Jariya, or whatever they want to call it. But we're calling on the Muslim world now to send their ships full of goods and what have you into that region. And it's the duty of us to see we can solve these problems. All we do is get busy now. We're in a different stage. With Lebanon, okay, you send boats through the Suez Canal, but also we got our highways from Iraq, right? And we got stuff in Syria. So we pack up Iraq, fill it up. And then from Iraq, we can run through Jordan and wherever we run to get to Lebanon and Palestine. Load stuff up at the border with Palestine, and just we can send it over in balloon. It's okay, we can do what we want. But for the Muslims, and for those things coming through the Middle East, when we say Middle East, let's call it Lebanon, it would have to be managed by Hezbollah, because they're the only one that would have the control, the spiritual and disciplinary control, where the people wouldn't steal everything. Now remember, we have to relieve our friends, you know. This is Imam Hussein now on the surface, all out. This is blockade running. Now this is counteroffensive time, what we're talking about right now. And we're going to overwhelm Boss Man. Overwhelm him. And get everybody involved. Get the whole UN involved. Because see, what the Israelis has been doing is clear. So we got to point the finger at the Israelis. Boy, the Israelis, they got atomic bombs, they got this, they got that. They took land, that's against the UN. That land don't belong to them, and they got the people in jail on their own land. Right? Yeah. So we get the UN to look at the law, what the UN said, that's wrong. And at the same time, we're not paying no attention about, and if we get a few, that means Malaysia and Indonesia sending certain ships, and all they do is line them ships out there, and the people come and get what they need. And that's what they do. They out in the water unload. And it's called no control. When we was in the penitentiary, when we get a new counselor of police, we would throw him for no control because he had established himself and his discipline. So we would do what we want to do. And he was there by himself, and he couldn't, it's called, man, we're going to throw, what's the name for no control? They'd have to bring in a senior supervisor, you know, to get us back. As soon as the senior gets back to know what's going on, we just get back in line and going out of business. Yeah. We just throwing the new guy for no control. Sam, no control. On the sea, on the land, on the air. It's illegal what the United States is doing. And what's so serious about no control, everybody was involved. You can't punish all of us. Every now and then they would. They'd have us on a night hike, we'd be watching. You niggas don't get back right. Okay, every now and then they get everybody. But think about it. From the land, from the sea, from the air. This is our duty. We have to make sure that our people are not starving to death anymore in Yemen. They're telling us you can't feed your people. Well, where is there? Some of our people have excess of rice and different things. Take it all over there. If Indonesia, well, Indonesia may not. If Malaysia sends one ship per such and such, and even people is not in it, the Japanese, all of those people that have a humanitarian approach, the Swedes, all of them, right, that have a humanitarian approach, you send ships down there, and you're out in the water. We're not violating anything. And I don't know, the people who come and visit in our ship, we can't stop them. They just want to